I want to start off by asking you guys, who knows what paleontology is? How about you?
Studying rocks and fossils.
Studying rocks and fossils, exactly. And what are fossils? Michael?
Like animal bones.
Animal bones, but what else? What other things could be fossils?
Like stones.
Stones aren't really fossils. Stones are rocks, and fossils are kind of like rocks because they're hard, but they're a little bit different. Way back in the back?
Like a footprint of a dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly. So fossils can be anything from a bone to a print that an animal made when it walked through mud when it was alive that got covered over. It could be a dinosaur egg. You know what else it could be? It could even be a dinosaur poop. It could be anything. I go far away sometimes from the United States, but sometimes I stay really close. And I dig up dinosaurs all summer long. And then I come back to the Science Museum and I start looking at the things that we dug up during the summer, and I can begin to understand a little bit about what dinosaurs did when they were alive. So when I go out in the field in the summer times, paleontologists call it going out in the field, and it means something different than going out into a football field. It means going out into places where there are mostly just rocks, not a lot of people usually, not a lot of trees, just lots of grass and lots of rocks, and we look for dinosaurs in those rocks. And every summer when we go, we find lots and lots of bones. And so we dig in a big area, we call it an excavation or a quarry, and we dig in this quarry and we find pieces of dinosaurs every summer. Then we bring all of those dinosaurs back to the Science Museum by wrapping them up in a plaster and burlap jacket. Do you guys know what burlap is? It's kind of I saw some of it laying on the floor a little while ago. It's kind of this fabric. It's like a woven fabric. And I think you guys might be dyeing it, or maybe another class is going to dye it later. So burlap is just a kind of fabric, and we cut it into long strips, and then we dip it into plaster. Do you guys know what plaster is? Yeah. So how many of you guys have broken your arms or broken legs, broken bones? Yeah. So you remember when they wrapped your arm up in a cast? That's exactly what we do to dinosaur bones. We wrap them up in casts, and then we can bring them back to the Science Museum safe and sound, so they don't get broken, they don't get scratched or anything else. So what I brought up for you guys today was a few dinosaur bones. If you guys have questions, I'll answer them at the end, okay? So I brought up a bunch of dinosaur bones, and I'm going to hold a few of them up, and I might be able to pass a few around if you guys can be really careful, okay? These are replicas. They're not the real thing, but we coat them over with a special plastic, and the real bones we coat with a special plastic, and then we can make exact copies that we can study and we can pass around for kids to handle. Because real dinosaur bones are really fragile. They break really easily. Because some of them are 220 million years old, right? So I'm going to hold up a couple, and I want to hear some guesses about what you guys think these things are. It's kind of weird looking. How about you? Yep. Not a tooth. That's a good guess. I'll tell you guys what this one is, and you can see it afterwards. Why don't we just, everybody can come up afterwards and take a look, okay? How many of you have seen the Stegosaurus at the Science Museum? It's the one with the plates on its back. This is a plate from the Stegosaurus. And this is a little tiny one, which means it either came from up close to the head or down at the end of the tail, right? So that's a plate. Now, what do you guys think Stegosaurus used these crazy looking plates for? Way in the back. Protection? Now, what about other things? Now, one thing that you might notice when you guys see this thing up close is that it's full of little tiny grooves. And those grooves used to hold blood vessels. And blood vessels in a bone that sits on somebody's back, on a big flat bone sitting on somebody's back, might be used to get rid of some heat. Because these dinosaurs are really big, right? And their bodies might have overheated really easily.